The more cooks, the worse the porridge. But sometimes you need all those cooks to turn your passion into policy. How do you form a winning coalition that stays together when you have several strong groups all working in the same space and for the same goals? So, on today's Better Advocacy in 10 minutes or less, I'm going to give you a strategy you can use to create an effective multi-leader coalition. And here it is. Number one, know your goal. Number two, talk with the key organizations. Number three, bring everyone together and set ground rules. Number four, create a strategy. Number five, stay in communication. And number six, that's right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, celebrate the win. First off, you need to know your goal. This is your passion you want to turn into policy. You need a good idea of what you're trying to achieve before you bring people together. Do you need all the policy specifics? No, but you should have a one-line goal like eliminate human trafficking in agriculture jobs, raise teacher pay, create a new state park. The policy specifics can come later. Next, you want to identify and have one-on-one conversations with each key organization before forming the coalition. Tell them your idea and find out if they're interested in working towards it. If they are, find out what their goals are, what their non negotiables are, and what they can contribute in regards to time and resources. Now, it's best to do this privately. Some organizations can be very secretive before they launch a new policy push. Maybe because they're trying to line up funding, maybe they're trying to line up supporters, or maybe they just like to keep secrets. Whatever the reason, respect their privacy now if you want them to be a good coalition partner in the future. Now, once you've found out who's interested in being part of this coalition, it's time to bring everyone together and set some ground rules. Like in any coalition, it's best to do this in person, especially if there are groups represented that aren't familiar with each other. This FaceTime helps to build trust, and trust is what keeps coalitions together. Make sure you build in time for team building so it's not all policy and strategy. And I'm talking about more than introductions. Have a meal together. Talk about non policy stuff. You need to be building those relationships and trust bonds now because those will be key when the inevitable disagreements arise later on. And one of the best way to diffuse disagreements is to decide on some ground rules for decision making. Yes, how will leadership be chosen? How will decisions be made before the legislative session when you have time to set meetings, research, and debate ideas? And how will decisions be made during the legislative session when you may need an answer in hours, not in days? All right, now that you have your team and a decision-making process in place, it's time to set your strategy. Now, you probably have your own ideas, but this should be collaborative while giving deference to the groups that have the most invested. How this looks will vary from coalition to coalition based on the decision making process you set up. But let's be honest, it's going to boil down to what is your goal and what resources do you have to devote to achievable tactics to reach that goal. Yes, so each tactic should be tasked to an organization or group from different orgs or an individual. Accountability is key when you're setting your strategy. Now, once you have your strategy in place and duties are assigned, then you will want to continue communicating. Lack of communication leading to or exacerbating lack of trust is the biggest reason why I've seen coalitions fail. The coalition leader should be communicating regularly with the members, both individuals and groups, providing updates, kudos, alerts, and any other needed communication. The individuals and groups tasked with work should be communicating amongst themselves and to the leader so roadblocks can be identified and overcome, success is celebrated, and to ensure that work stays on track. And most importantly, when fissures or disagreements begin to arise, that's when communication is most important. You want people to feel safe sharing anything that causes unease or conflict sooner than later. Now, that was just a lot, but I want to emphasize one thing I may have sped by. Share the love. Make sure you are giving private and public thanks to members of your coalition. When a win happens, no matter how small, make sure everyone involved gets credit. And this takes us to our last point. Celebrate the win. Yes, share the glory with everyone in the coalition. They all had a part in achieving this victory, in turning your passion into policy. Even if you felt like you did all the heavy lifting, take a moment to see how each coalition member contributed as they could and thank them for that. You want to leave on a good note because odds are you'll be relying on these people in the future for another coalition to turn another passion into policy. All right. So, do you remember all these steps? We flew through them 10 minutes or less, right? Number one, know your goal. Number two, talk with the key organizations. Number three, bring everyone together and set some ground rules. Number four, create a strategy. Number five, stay in regular communication. And number six, share the love. Celebrate that win. Can I guarantee you a win with these 6 steps? No, I can't. But I can assure you that you will have a healthier, multi leader coalition that will be more effective at turning your passion into policy.